Good afternoon. My name is Michael Stevens, and I'm an assistant librarian here at Scott County Public Library. One of the tasks that I do here at the library is helping people with their resumes. It's a job I really enjoy. Right now across America, there are 40 million people who are unemployed. Yes, 40 million. So I know if there are that many people across the country, we have some people right here in Georgetown who are looking for jobs. So to do that, you must have a resume. So today, I'm going to give you a few tips to help your resume sparkle and to land you that job that you've been looking for. First tip, don't list every job you've ever had. They don't care if you washed windows when you were 14 years old at the local jewelry store or if you folded newspapers at the local newspaper when you were 15. I actually did both of those things, but it wouldn't be appropriate for me to put it on my resume. The best place to start when preparing to write a resume is to look carefully at the job positions that interest you. As you apply for different jobs, you should study each job description for keywords that show exactly what the employer thinks is an ideal candidate. Don't send your resume to a company that you know nothing about. The company name doesn't always tell you exactly what they do, and you would be wasting your time. For example, if a company was called The Main Event, it could be a wedding venue, it could be a hairstyling salon, the main event, get it? It could be a coffee shop, or it could be a travel agency. It could be any of those things. So if you send your resume to a company that you know nothing about, you're pretty much wasting your time. Also, review resume examples for your industry. You can find them online or in fact in books at your local library. For example, 7 years ago, when I was looking to get a job here at Scott County Public Library, I found books like these to be very, very helpful. I could go through and look at sample resumes and then tailor-made my resume to exactly what they were hopefully looking for, and I guess it worked. Next tip, keep it 1 to 2 pages. Using a one-page resume is kind of considered the standard. If you've recently graduated or if you've been in the workforce for, say, 5 years or less, you can fit all your information onto one page. Remember to keep your details succinct, concise, and specific to the position. A lengthy resume works against you as recruiters and hiring managers have to scan them quickly. They don't have time to read a lot of details. But there is an exception to that. Don't sacrifice quality for brevity. If you must go to 2 pages in order to list your specific, relevant skills and abilities, don't worry about keeping it to 1 page. 1 to 2 pages, you'll be good. You'll meet the standard. And only include subheadings and sections that you feel you need. It's okay to leave a section out from a resume you might find in a book or online. Next tip, design your resume for skimmability. The hiring manager today spends really about 6 seconds as he or she skims your resume. They are matching your skills to the positions they have. Your resume must be easy to read, actually skim, and appealing to the eye. And you have about 30 seconds for them to make that decision whether or not they're going to put you in the interview pile or the file 13 pile, which you definitely don't want that to happen. Include the most relevant information and put the most important information first. Next tip, use bullets, not long sentences. And this is, you can tell I'm old school. In decades past, resumes were in well-defined paragraphs. Today, bullets get right to the point. The beautifully written, superfluous language of the past is just that. It's in the past. So, be concise. This makes it much easier to read when someone has only a few seconds to glance at your resume. Also, use clear titles and headings. This will help you navigate the page and find the information you need. Use this strategy to separate the various sections, such as education, skills, training, that type of thing. Use oversized titles and subtitles to highlight information that you want the recruiters to immediately see. But it's also okay if you want to combine sections, if you're having trouble filling out one of the sections. For example, education and training could go very nicely together. Next tip, give specific numbers where you can. Show quantifiable results. Did you manage a large team or implement a large money-saving program? Employers care about actual results and outcomes, not just titles, qualities, and strengths like in the past. Give specific examples of results that you personally created as a result of managing that team or implementing that program. Let me give you an example of what I mean. Let's say one person might put, I was an account manager for an advertising agency. That's okay, but that's not very quantifiable. A better way to put it might be, I managed 15 strategic accounts billing in excess of $15 million annually. That's much more specific and will show the employer that you're really on the job. Another example, sold widgets to clients in the Midwest. Again, not specific enough. I increased sales by 17% in a 5-state territory. That's more the type of person they're looking for. Employers are highly responsive to measurable, proven values. Numbers allow them to better understand the value that you can bring to their company. Next tip, use action verbs. Don't be passive in your language. Hiring managers want to know more than what position you were in. They want to know what you did, your goals, your achievements. So don't use passive verbs. Use definable action verbs. Your resume should be written using active language without extraneous words. So go ahead, use power words, such as my team achieved, or I completed, or together we accomplished. That'll get you the type of thing they're looking for, especially that together we accomplished shows that you're a team player, and that might be something they're looking for, as well as giving them your job description. Next tip, highlight your strengths. Call attention to your important achievements. Instead of listing your job duties under the experience section, select your top 3 or 4 most important achievements in each role that you've had. Show them your versatility. Where possible, include numbers that measure your success for that particular achievement. You might even consider including a separate achievement or skills section to specifically highlight relevant information in your education, career, volunteer work, or other experiences. If you're a people person, let them know that too. That could lead to a position in HR or mid-management. Next tip, match the needs they have. When you see an ad in a newspaper or online, each ad will usually have a brief blurb about what the company does and the position that's available. Use the keywords listed in that ad and match them to the bullet points on your resume. Chances are that you have some of them in your key points already. However, if you missed any, then add them to your resume, no problem. Using a custom resume instead of a generic one will greatly improve your chances of an interview, as you will have a much better match in what they're looking for. Make each resume reflect the company where you are applying. If it's a customer service position, then prioritize your customer service experience. If it's a technical position, then do the same there. In other words, it's okay to have several different versions of your resume. That way you can send the correct version to the company that you're looking for. Next, show some personality. Just as in an interview, your resume will have a tone. Are you all business? Or do you have a buoyant personality that can benefit the company? Now, I know it's hard to make a resume look exciting and have sparkle to it. I don't want you to get crazy. Don't put butterfly stickers and rainbows and things like that on your resume. That probably won't help. Some people put their heading and subheading in color to add the aesthetic appeal to the resume. It gives just a little touch of personality, but it's not too over the top where they think you might be a little bit flaky or something. Next, be positive. Above all, in your resume and interview, you must be positive. Leave out negative and irrelevant points. If you feel your graduation date will subject you to age discrimination, then leave it out of your resume. If you do some duties in your current job that don't support your job objective, then don't include them. That's okay. Focus on the duties that do support your objective and leave off irrelevant personal details like your race, weight, or height. Employers are not interested in that. They are interested in what you bring to their company. Next, white space is actually important. We talked earlier about making your resume visually appealing. Words should not be minuscule or crammed on one page where they need a magnifying glass to try to read it. nor should it be 2 pages with lots of white space. Look at your resume objectively. Does it look properly balanced and pleasing to the eye? Most people will find that 1-inch margins on all sides are pretty much the standard, but you can adjust that a little bit to make your resume, again, be pleasing to the eye. A little white space is attention grabbing, so don't work to totally eliminate it. It's okay. Next, some formatting guidelines and just some things to remember. Some final thoughts, so to speak. Triple check your resume for errors. That's super important. Be honest. Don't oversell your skills, because that'll backfire on you. If you tell them you've got all these skills, you can handle this and this and this and this, and then when you get on the job you can't, that resume is not going to help you a bit. Do not include references unless asked. I know that's different than what I used to think. We always had our references on our resumes, but now they don't, not unless they specifically ask for them. If they do ask, it should be team leaders, supervisors, etc., who know of your work ethic and your reliability. Don't give them a list of your friends or family. And be sure to get permission from your references. When that employer calls your reference, you want them to know you're going to be calling so they can give you the best reference instead of saying, "Who's that and what's this about?" You don't want that. You want them to say, "Oh, I knew you would call. Joe is a great guy." And they can talk about your skills and your abilities. Also, don't include your picture. That's also a dated thing, kind of old school. In the old days, we used to have our picture at the top of our resume, and it looked so great. They could see exactly the guy they're going to be talking to, but that's very dated, and now they don't do that. Use a font that's generally 10 to 14. That's your range. Most people stay 10 to 12, but going up to 14 is okay, but be sure to use something standard like Times New Roman or Arial. It's not a time for an Old English beautiful font, because then they won't be able to read it. It's not a wedding invitation, it's a resume. Okay? Be cautious of free templates online. I can't stress that enough. Online, there's all kinds of templates that say, "Oh, create your resume for free." And you could create that resume for free. It would let you do that. And the template is very easy to use. But when you go to print it, there's going to be a charge there. So yes, they will let you create the resume, but they will not let you print it for free. And then at that point, you've done nothing but waste your time. In conclusion, if you're currently seeking employment, you need to sell yourself with a resume that shows the company your unique qualifications. Your resume is often the first step in getting an interview with an employer. Make sure you include the most important and relevant information, organize it to highlight the most important information, and carefully review for errors. Don't just glance over one time yourself. The errors can be terrible. For example, there's nothing worse than seeing a resume when the person doesn't know the difference between there, and there. As an employer, that would give me a big problem. I wouldn't want them sending out writing things from my company with those kind of errors in them. Once your resume is polished and finalized, it should help you get more callbacks, interviews, and job offers. So good luck and happy job hunting.